Why? Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. My name is Mr. Dogboat333, and welcome back to Hearts of Iron 4, The New Order, as a Far Eastern Imperial realm. Now, last time we were here together, we came up on the precipice of the big confrontation of the series. We have a quiet dinner ahead of us from now. And my friends, it's time for the final confrontation between the military and Mikhail. This will determine the future of Chita. Oh, sure, that's basically what I said. I didn't even realize that was going to happen. Mikhail stared down at his soup, his appetite having left him. Despite his best efforts, he could not stop thinking about everything that could go wrong. Bizarre's guest for the evening, Ivan Mikhailov, still clearly possessing his own appetite, but even the usually chatty minister was abnormally somber today. Your Majesty, you must eat. I cannot afford to have you starve now. There's much to do. Seeing the look Vizar gave him, Mikhailov continued. Do not worry yourself, my liege. Everything is in motion. All that remains now is to have faith in our success. Mikhailov set his spoon down, and as he did so, both men noticed that it, along with the other silverware, had begun to vibrate. From outside, a deep rumbling could be heard, and both Mikhail and Mikhailov rose in unison to investigate, their minds beginning to race. Pulling aside the curtains, they were greeted with a sight that made their blood run cold. Trucks and armored carriers disgorged dozens of soldiers with the insignia of a city garrison, and they were moving to encircle the residence. And at the front gates, Boris Shepanov himself stood by while an enraged subordinate screamed at the guard commander. The men backed away from the window and looked at each other. Then that's it, isn't it? The Tsar said, his voice in a whisper. Shepanov's found us out. We've arrived at the precipice. Boris Shepanov sternly examined the scene that lay before him. His troops had the Tsar's dacha utterly surrounded. The rats were cornered in their holes. Only a token force of Imperial honor guards and a few conscientious young officers stood between him and those who conspired against the state. The old general prepared to make his attention known. Attention, all those who serve the Tsar. We are here only to execute the will of the Russian state. Mikhail Andreevich has thrown his lot in with treasonous elements, and has forsaken his holy vows to protect Russia and her people. Stand down! At once! Vizar's loyalists did not bulge. Shepanov could not take their defiance any longer. Enough of this farce. General Volkogonov, order your men to attack. This ends today. No. I'm afraid I can't do that, sir. What the fuck? Turning to a subordinate, he was met instead with the barrel of a gun. Volkogonov had his sidearm pointed directly at his face. What the hell do you think you're doing, General? Shepanov's voice, usually stern and decisive, now bore rarely seen panic. Boris Shepanov, in the name of His Imperial Majesty, Mikhail II, I am placing you under arrest. Shepanov's world had turned upside down in only a few seconds. Volkogonov's soldiers had turned their sights inwards and began violently detaining any units present who answered Shepanov. You too, Volkogonov. No. No, this can't be. Words had finally failed him. The Prime Minister and commander of the White Army, formerly the most powerful man in the Empire, felt his knees give out as soldiers cuffed his hands. Almost as soon as it had begun, his ironclad reign had come to an end. The chains are broken. Well, let's go ahead and get a new field marshal in. Dmitry Volkogonov. And not the best, but we'll train him back up. Surely. Let's get Leonid in there as well. Meanwhile, let's go ahead and start looking for some recognition. Now that we've stabilized the Japanese demands and begun to attract an influx of immigrants who will help in the development of our nation, we can only think about actually controlling actually lobbying for official recognition, controlling about a quarter of Russia's territory and only a fraction of her population. This will only be an uphill battle, but with the Japanese backing our claim to Russian legitimacy, the hardest steps have already been taken. An official statement of intent for the reclamation of Russia and the establishment of the imperial czar system shall be made, but assurances towards Washington in regards to constitutionalism and our eventual distancing from the Japanese will hopefully placate their fears. Ultimately, our goal is to have both the Americans and the Japanese view us as the rightful Russian heir. Well, very good. Just out of curiosity, do we have to finish this before we can do... Oh, there's no necessity to do it, looks like. Alright, we have some reserves from our convoy selling. I think... I'm not actually going to just pay off the debt, actually. A little shocking, I'm sure. I'll pay off a little bit of it. But I actually plan on consolidating the state resource corporations. Get some more GDP, some building slots and infrastructure in all these slots, as well as extra resources, because that seems wonderful right now. And with the rest... we'll hold on to the rest for now. But how are we doing with our poverty programs? Pretty well. I think, yeah, the debt got paid off with that. The Korbashi Federation of Turkestan. What does that mean? Exactly. What do you mean by that? Something. Surely. What? I do not know, but... Great conspiracy, of course. Is Orenburg just... Okay, they are getting attacked, it seems. Looking for recognition. We have the one extra troop, we'll put them there. And just like that, we can sell our convoys. Fantastic. Let's do a HoI on Japan. The Japanese are a safe bet in terms of international recognition, but by no means are they the only powers recognition that we seek. Apart from Tokyo and our Spearlings, the Americans across the Pacific and their economically powerful OFN have long been a target of some of the more open-minded and innovative individuals within our ruling circles. Given our close work with Japanese for the moment and our quashing of the American favor for Magadan, this will almost certainly be a quest that will end in disappointment. However, at least it's important that we try, at the very least establish a precedent for a future relationship with Washington and her allies. And let's see if old President, who's the president? President Bobby will help us out. And we could deploy the rest of these units. I'm not going to yet, because that's going to massively upend our economy. Especially, I think that one unit was about 0.04. I'm actually going to do military austerity for one more cycle. Because... by the time 69 comes around, the year, you perverts, the showdown is gonna commence, but we're not gonna really have to worry about actual war until probably halfway through the year. I have a fucking spider crawling over my screen. So we're just gonna hang tight for now, I think. Meanwhile, we have some more infrastructure being built out. It's going across, very nice. We have a new... There we go. New military guy. I'll read him anyway. He said he was a Russian? Are you sure? I'm positive. His English was so broken we couldn't understand him. We had to find someone in the building who spoke Russian to find out what he wanted. Send him in? Well, the ambassador was confused. His curiosity was piqued. It's been some time since the ambassador had brushed up on his Russian, but he was confident he knew enough to conduct diplomacy. After a few quiet moments, the mysterious emissary entered the ambassador's office. Salutations. I represent His Imperial Majesty Mikhail II, Emperor of all Russia. I come to you today to request official diplomatic recognition from the United States as a true government of Russia. The ambassador was completely overwhelmed by what he had just heard. Hey, slow down there, pal. You said you represent an emperor? Indeed. On behalf of their defiantly chosen Emperor Mikhail II, the White Army has wrested Eastern Siberia away from the fascist and Bolshevik tyrants. Now that our position is secure, we wish to obtain recognition as the legitimate government we are. This answer only raised more questions. The ambassador was going to have to call someone about this, but first he'd have to get this strange Russian out of his office. I'm afraid there's not much I can do, seeing as my job is to handle relations with Japan, but, I can make some calls to the State Department on your behalf. You have any other questions? No, that would be all. Well, there we go, you know. Let's get some more resource deals going. And now let's go off to Tokyo. Well, this may seem like a no-brainer at this point. The Japanese recognize his right to proclaim it to the Russian Empire unification. The administration has clearly been fickle in the past, and we're certainly not perfect. A stark reminder of this was their support for the RFP instead of our movement. Thus, the administration in Chita is prepared to send an official delegation to Tokyo in order to request the Japanese officially recognize the white movement based in Chita as the rightful heir of Russia. Their sending off by plane from the city of Chita was seen as a new era by many within Chita's administration, a new era of success and prosperity. There we go. Alright, let's see how the OFN is going to fuck this up this time. Well, there are a couple different... I don't know which one is supposed to be pro and which one's supposed to be anti-America. I guess probably the Republic. Maybe the Popular Republic. Not the Pan-Africanists. Yep, American sabotage efforts. Yep, these guys. Okay. Meanwhile, these guys have Japanese sabotage efforts. And they're being bombed to all fucking hell. These guys are being sabotaged by both, actually, which is interesting. What do we want to do next? Well, that's the question, isn't it? We could do... Let's get a World War II assault weapons. Honestly, we should probably go ahead and edit these divisions and get some... I actually have a lot of good stuff in here anyway. Well, we don't have to edit those then. There goes the issue. Smother that in the crib off the bat. Our debt's being paid off quite nicely. Deep within the Kasumi Gaiseki district in Tokyo, General Vladimir Abramov felt like a stranger in even stranger land. Here he was, standing inside a nondescript office in the Japanese Foreign Ministry's headquarters, facing an official diplomatic delegation. Vladimir was handpicked by Boris Shepanov, personally head the white delegation at Tokyo. Although the general never dared to question his superior's orders, there was one small hang-up that he had with the idea. Romanoff was a military man and had no diplomatic experience whatsoever. He wondered about why Shepanov just didn't get the foreign ministry to handle it instead, but it was too late to do anything about it now. The Japanese were before him, expecting Romanoff to be the face of a new Russian diplomatic mission. He knew the future of Russo-Japanese relations may hinge on his success or failure in this meeting. Well, in short, His Imperial Majesty wishes to look past any historical transgressions, promote a great renewal in Russo-Japanese relations. Rest assured, we approach as friends and equals. Rest assured, we approach as friends and equals. Abramov's statement sounded painfully rehearsed, and he hoped that the fact was lost in Japanese. His Japanese counterparts turned to speak to one of his subordinates in language that the Russian delegation did not understand. The diplomat then turned back to Abramov with an unconvincing smile on his face. Equals, you say? What an interesting perspective, to say the least. Do not worry, General. Japan is indeed open to strengthening relations. I sincerely hope that today's meeting shall be the first of many. Perhaps we will also learn a thing or two about conducting diplomacy in the process. Yes? Yes, indeed. Interesting. So, who's all here? Looks like the Russian presence versus the native Kazakhs. Interesting. Popular Republic. That's going to be probably won by the these guys then, right? Oh no, there's an encirclement here. If they can keep that going, they may yet have a shot. Oh, look at them go. Oh, yeah, look at them go. You know what? I feel bad enough for them. The OFNs are going to have one win, damn it. It's not Madagascar, which is a fucking fluke. Let them win, dang it. And now that I've done that, the Republic's just going to fucking sweep them. I'm guessing that's going to be the convoy decision. And let's do this. Is there anything we want to do in the meanwhile? Can't really think of anything. If we see something like the poverty programs pop up again, I think those would be wonderful. We might want to do something with that. Or something with the hospitals. Something with the agri stuff, because that reduces poverty as well. But in the meanwhile, I think this will probably be it. Well, you know, this is going to be a bit more of a mild-mannered episode. We had the excitement at the front, and then just kind of figuring out what to do for the rest of the episode. Kind of like Dexter after they did the big, well, they did a lot of things that they probably should have saved for later, and then just started doing some weird shit. The Stockholm conference actually worked out, huh? Look at that. That's very interesting. Very funny. I don't know about funny, but interesting. Germany with this little province over here, Nordstern. I'm a little confused as to why Germany hasn't taken these islands. They've taken this one. Romania abandons Transnistria, huh? Oh, they just gave it to Germany. Well, that's just fucking horrible for them, isn't it? I got research, right. Let's do some Navy stuff. Why not? I started a little bit of Navy stuff prior. Let's do general building construction as well. At least get working on it. We can take a bit of a hard research penalty now. And yeah, just kind of take her from here. We can sell some more convoys. We have some more options. Might be a good idea for research. Yeah, because we did have the issue. Let's wait till it gets sold first. Let's also do the leasing deals. And we will hike up taxes one last time. Mikhail held the newspaper in his hands. It was in French, likely heavily censored by their German puppet masters. The front page was plastered with some political scandal that Mikhail cared very little for. He had no clue as to who the primary players in the scandal were, and was certain that his isolation in Chita meant that the happenings in France would have no impact on him whatsoever. The front page, of course, was not why the aide had given him the paper. Several sheets deep, Mikhail had found what he was looking for. A footnote, really, unworthy of its own article, simply an obituary. Fyodor Alexandrovich, born 22nd December 1898, died 30 November 1968. There's more, of course, a short paragraph dedicated to the greatness of his life and those he left behind. So that was why the paper had been delivered. Uncle Fyodor was dead. Mikhail stared at the entry, feeling a disdain that was as forced and as demented as it was real. He tried again, saying to himself again and again, Uncle Fyodor is dead. God, he had to admit to himself he didn't really care. It was this realization that hurt him more than the actual death. Was he so distant, so removed from the rest of his family that death meant so little to him? It wasn't if they had been close, true, but shouldn't he care more about a death in the family? Mikhail pondered this, wondering if, when his own death came, it would be greeted with the same enthusiasm he had mustered. Pizarro looked out the window at the moon-dappled falling snow, as the pale light falling across his face. Here today, gone tomorrow. Let's do the resource deals there. I forgot. I guess I didn't click that. And we can improve relations with the Japanese as well. Yeah, okay. I'll research in that now. We'll just pay off the debt when the boats are sold. And with that, oh, we have to wait. There we go. Well, diplomacy has not even been attempted, I'll be real. days. A grand showdown. Let us see who will stand tall in the end. Well, there we go. Look at that. I mean, the Germans won the fucking Congo. You can't, I feel like I should give them a little bit of a bone. Interesting. I didn't realize that could happen. Alright, the Tavor presidency. Okay, look at that. Very, very interesting. I might do an education program as well. Poverty popped up. Poverty relief programs, rather. Yeah, those are going to be important. Oh, Bobby Kennedy getting a second term. Look at that. Alright, we're not going to do military austerity. If anything, we're going to up our budget. So first deficit we've run in a hot minute. And it's going to continue like that for a bit. We'll have some convoys to sell off. That'll help our deficit from ballooning. But for now, oh, interesting. Well, Kazakhstan is one. Something, something, very nice. God, they really haven't taken out fucking Orenburg yet, have they? Unia really is just twiddling his fucking thumbs right now, isn't he? Alright, production. What can we cut down on? Let's cut down on early close air support, get working on pumping out improved anti-air. Alright, in the meanwhile, we got some planes out here. Can add on to them. Port strike. We can do some logistic strikes. Some interception out here as well. They're all going to be green. But, you know what? We can... What do we have? Production units. Let's put them into the workshops. We'll amplify. Work on pumping out the new ARMs, as well as pumping out the AA. How are we even doing convoy-wise? Anyway, out of curiosity. Yeah, we're fine in convoys. We don't need to really pump out anymore. I'm not worried about the naval rearmament. Pay off some debt. And now we just kind of do the resource lending. That'll minimize the deficit a little bit. The palace coup in Japan. Well, the emperor is the head of the empire, combining in himself the rights of sovereignty and exercises them according to the provisions of the present constitution. Article 4 of the Meiji Constitution. Well, when all else fails. Very, very interesting. War on the horizon. Well, we'll do a little bit of mechanization. It seems these guys haven't gone fucking anywhere. So, front line, offensive line, very simple. So some divisions preparing. There's a large river crossing. And it's not going to be immediately fun. Or probably fun ever to be doing this. But we must for Russia. And how are we doing? Kind of immediately getting our shit pushed in, actually. Well, we'll let them push in a little bit. These are our, yeah, these are our 7.2s. Our 7.2s. No, these are combat wood 15s. What the fuck? Well, these should be 20 wits. Did I never changed these to 20 wits. I'm a bit of a dimwit, aren't I? Okay, well, this is all very awkward and embarrassing, I'm not gonna lie. Well, you know what time it is, boys and girls. All fucking 5 girls who are watching this right now. It is time for a mass disarmament. Oh yeah, I forgot about the Duma. That's right. Look at that. Someone asked me to replay Tomsk. It's been a while since I have. I think that was my first Russia series. I think it would be fun to, definitely, but... Well, luckily for Tomsk right now, the AI is being a little dingbatty. That's my polite way of saying the word that I want to say, but I can't. I can't believe I didn't actually... Did I not? I must not have. Alright. And I'm just gonna do that. I hope they can pop up some memes in the meanwhile and make this a bit more interesting. Because right now I'm just kind of doing the same old nonsense that I do when I don't know what I'm doing with my life. Or my game skills. Why are we not ready right now? Well, how's our economy doing? We got a bit of a deficit. Do tax hike. It's minimized. Honestly, with this, I could probably go back down to, fucking military austerity. Save more of my budget. Oh god, yeah, these guys are all green now. I had a bunch of fucking units. Their commands. Meanwhile, Olmsk is getting raffle stomped right now. Yeah, look at that. So much for the great trial. To get a great old refund for all the investments they put into that. Could hire some foreign instructors. I'm not too worried about that, though. Better healthcare quality, though. That I feel better about. I feel better already. That used to help out with poverty. I guess not much anymore. I'll add on an extra civilian factory. I think once we enter the super regional phase is when I'm going to try to move away from the factories and try to do the workshops for the military and do dedicated factories. Let's improve the healthcare network while we can. Some military industrial development, but... Well, as we move in... the casualty level is not great. And there we all go. Well... Time to core all these up. And now it's time for Siberian reunification. We lose our fishing boats for whatever reason. I don't know why. We just do. I'll tab this, because I forget we lose the Imperial Fleet stuff as well. And now we can open our door to America. America. Each month, or for 1 year, 1,000 people should move to states of Chita, Irkutsk, Yakutsk, Kamchatka, and Magadan. Well, let's do it. And we now have some solid stuff we can do. We'll actually quite like a lot of this. The Stolypine Siberian land grants. So, we get a little extra to our national debt. But this is going to improve our agriculture development quite a bit and reduce our poverty by quite a bit as well. So, hell yeah, we're going to do that. We can also develop Magadan a fair bit more. Let's do it. Let's do the Great Siberian Highway Project as well. That just seems great. Wow. Let's do it. And we'll sell off some of our resources in the meanwhile. Because why not? We can, after all. Oh, we have to improve our military industrial equipment. Okay. That's interesting. I suppose that... excuse me. What the fuck? Why did our poverty rate go down 20%? What the fuck's going on? I'm gonna tick to the next month and see if that gets this gets itself settled. Okay, it has. That's good. What the fuck was that? I don't even know. But you know what? We have a surplus going on right now. So let's do some military austerity. Put these troops all in the front line. Just start exercising. And, yeah. Well, we might as well begin with the Tsar's speech. Tsar Mikhail, his authority now cemented over the fall, after the fall of Shepanov, has decided to take to the airwaves to announce a new era in the history of Russia, an era where freedom, prosperity, and individual liberty, where all Russians, rich or poor, educated or illiterate, will have the chance to live in harmony and peace. Of course, the Tsar actually has to know to say that in Russian. Mikhail was born in France and spent his whole life just about everywhere but Russia. When he was kidnapped and brought to the city of Chita as a prisoner in all but name, he was forced to read speeches phonetically, frequently not even aware of what he was saying. Even now, his Russian's poor. This has apparently not dissuaded the reinvigorated monarch, who's consulted with Mikhailov to get a full-time language tutor, so they can finally learn the language of his people. See, that's kind of badass, you know? Alright, let's untick this. We're going to focus full-time on military factories, get some real production going. Our credit rate is also improved. How high can it go up to? Just that. Okay. Well, you know what? I'll take it, I guess. I'll go ahead and boost up all the social stuff now that we have a decent surplus going. And that is going to end it here, my friends. on a pretty decent note. Not a very glorious note, but a good note to end on. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and leave things there. Gonna take a break and do some push-ups. Do something to restore my dignity as a man after I cheat in a video game. But anyway, I'm going to go and leave things there, my friends. So thank you as always for watching. If you like this video, leave a like. If not, feel free to dislike. If you have any comments, feedback, leave it in the comment section below. I read all comments I get, and I do appreciate any feedback you might have for me. Hit the sub button or the notification bell. Keep updated with these uploads as they come out. And yeah, I'm going to leave things there. Thanks for watching, my friends. My name has been Mr. Dogboat333, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye now.